Hello, welcome to this language-focused video on the present perfect. We've been talking in the first few videos about how the internet has changed journalism. When we do this, we use a certain verb form called the present perfect. In this video, we'll first define the present perfect verbs. Then, we'll talk about the structure and one of the uses of present perfect verbs. First, let's talk about what the present perfect is in general before moving on to structure and uses. You may have seen this tense before. Here's an example. The internet has changed journalism. Notice we're not using the simple past. The internet changed journalism. In the simple past, the changes that the internet caused would have started and ended in the past. Instead, this sentence is in the present perfect form. The internet started to change journalism in the past, and the internet may continue to change journalism in the future. Therefore, we need a verb form that shows this relationship, and that verb form is the present perfect. Now let's talk about the structure of the present perfect. To form the present perfect, we use helping verb have or has, and the past participle of the main verb. Remember, we use have if the subject is I, you, we, or they, or any specific plural subject like journalists or newspaper. We use has for she, he, and it, or any specific singular subject like the editor or Michelle Obama. For example, it has become important to be first when breaking a news story. Here we use has because of subject it, and we use become, which is the past participle of the verb to become. Here's another example. Since the beginning of this course, you have seen many videos and have written several assignments. Because the subject is you, we use helping verb have, and past participle forms seen and written. Remember, in many cases, the past participle is the past tense, as it is with the verbs change. If you can add d or ed and put a verb in the past tense, then the past participle is the same verb. But as we discussed in Unit 1, there are as many as 400 irregular verbs. Some of those irregular verbs, the simple past and past participle forms are the same, but for others they're different, as it is with verbs become, seen, and written. Now let's talk about how to use present perfect verbs. There are many ways to use this tense, and we'll talk about one of those uses now. We often use the present perfect to talk about actions that begin in the past and that could continue into the present and even the future. Let's look at some examples. Beyoncé has written many songs and has won many awards over the course of her career. You can see that we're using present perfect verbs. Here, has and written, has won. We're using this because Beyoncé is still creating music. She has a new album and may release more albums in the future. Now let's talk about Mozart. Mozart wrote many famous pieces of music. Here, we use the simple past, wrote, rather than the present perfect. Why do you think that is? Well, Mozart died in 1791. There's no possibility that he will create any more music. Therefore, we put it in the simple past. Here's a different example. The two countries have not reached a trade agreement yet. Here, we expect that eventually the two countries will reach a trade agreement, but right now there is no agreement. To show that the process started in the past, but that it's expected to continue into the future, we use the present perfect. To summarize, we've talked about what the present perfect is, its structure, and its use. In the next video, we'll discuss different challenges of digital journalism. As digital journalism changes, be sure to listen for the present perfect form.